So getting back to how Mouse ruined comics.
Okay.
All right, 30 seconds. Your 30 seconds are up. No more boomer music.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Damn.
Oh man, I love that take. I still love it after all these years.
I've only seen that, like, maybe parts of that. I've never seen the whole thing.
Yeah, it's quite a conversation, that one. It's quite a conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's another Wednesday. It is an episode of the Mattriarchy. I am, as always, your host, Matt Reese, coming to you from sunny and kind of humid Scottsbluff, Nebraska. It's unseasoned. It's not unseasonably warm, but it's unseasonably moist. Yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense since it rained like all of last week. That's not normal for May. Yeah. We're usually done with the heavy rains by then, but whatever. I'll tell you what, man. I was driving through the countryside yesterday. It's Wednesday. Yes, yesterday. I was on one of my big circuitous paths around the Panhandle, meeting with kids, and I could not believe how green it was in June.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's an amazing thing for my garden, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm jealous. I have not had a chance to get my garden going yet. I want to. I just haven't had a minute. I just finished, I finished with school, and all of that kind of stuff, and I'm getting back into the swing. Yep. But there's still a lot of travels and family obligations that had to take place, and I spent 1 week that I was planning on tearing apart my compost bins and rebuilding them. I spent one day on that helping Amy working on a project for our garage. So that was okay. It was a good use of time.
Oh yeah.
But I'm getting back onto the garden horse. I probably won't get anything planted. I was hoping to get planted before this weekend, because this weekend is the Cheyenne Celtic Festival, and I'm trucking it to go listen to some music and hear the bagpipes, and maybe have a little whiskey. We'll see how the weekend goes.
Maybe, huh?
Yeah, maybe it's possible. It's possible. And so that's what I got going on here. What have you guys been up to?
Go for it, Metal.
No, I was chewing.
Oh, he's like, shut up, man. I got this.
It's dinner time.
Yeah. Well, Metal's chewing. Yeah. Well, I've recently become a full-time starving artist, and the good news is that they give me time. Like, I do have time now to do this cool stuff, and I was able to get my garden in on time. Played in the mud during those awesome rains that we did have. It was pouring down. I was out there just tricking around the mud. It felt amazing. It felt like the Northwest, actually. But yeah, it really benefited my garden. Other than that, yeah, just a bunch of more commercial work right now, as far as just little projects here and there for painting and little stuff, little things here and there. But murals, I guess that wasn't little, but it was fun and awesome and huge.
It was singular.
Yeah, it was. It was singular, but multiple challenges I haven't faced in over 20 years. So, but it was fun. It was a good time. It was amazing. I had, I'm sure Metal can relate. Like, when you get to play on like a huge canvas, it's like, just have fun. The only drawback that I had from that was, or you can't play too much, but it wasn't a mixing of paint type of mural. It was I was doing an 8-bit homage for a buddy in his game room. So it was all like that. It was pretty fun though. It was a good time. Good times.
Yeah, I used to I wouldn't say steal, because they were basically just giving them away anyway, but I used to take Post-it notes from the counselor's office at school back when I was a counselor's aide, and I basically just started making sprites from video games on the wall using the different colored Post-it notes as the pixels.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll be honest, like, I have for years wanted an excuse to do a in-universe sprite comic for Ideal Comics. Come up with some sprites for some of our characters, and then just run a story of just sprite comics. But I gotta have the right story to justify it, and I haven't come up.
You know,
with
you
that
can
yet.
always just I those. That sounds like a blast. I was like, just dude. I mean, it could be almost any story, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you can just make up
It's like
excuse.
it's like one of those things. Like I in the vision in my mind is something where I want it to be something that the manner of the story, so like that the art style has a narrative like function within it, right? So that
Yeah, so it would be like Game Boy fighting trolls on the internet or something.
exactly
That's what,
something
you know,
like that. But I mean,
something
like
breaks Game Boys.
that's exactly the kind of thing I'm thinking. But I'm trying to I need to come up with a whole piece, and I haven't taken the time to do that yet because there's just other stuff that's kind of, you know, that's back burner, the back of my head. Let my unconscious mind think about it while I'm thinking about, you know, building the map to Anuan for the next one, you know. So, whoops, I didn't say nothing. Instead, it is an Ask Me Anything. And so I stole some artwork from Charles Schultz to make this happen in the thumbnail. With, of course, stuff from Abigail or Evie to back that up as well. So we are going to go through the chat. First of all, a shout out to Larry, Honey Boo Boo Trading Company, 7, Jim Tuner, and Fizz is here, and Hiroshi Paradox. And we will start at the top of the thing and start asking some questions. And then, who knows, we may, if we run into questions or if we go off on tangents, I don't know, maybe we could do some live comic book readings or something too of enactments of some of our lesser known works. Who knows what we'll run into tonight. I figure we'll just take
all
it.
our works.
But I'm going to take one question out of order, which I think it was Fizz who said, what have we done with, it's Jim Tuner. What have we done with Twitless? He couldn't make it. I don't know why. I didn't pry, but he said he was not going to be able to be here this week. So
he's too busy twiddling his thumbs.
I don't know if maybe he and the wife are going out. Maybe they're traveling to see family. Maybe he's not feeling well. Who knows? Who knows what's happening with old Twitless? Because I didn't ask. Because you know, that's you know, I figure if he wanted me to know, he'd have told me.
That's fair.
So okay. So first question on the list here, Larry says, "What is your favorite obscure work of William Shakespeare?" By obscure, I'm gonna take it to mean you mean one of his works that doesn't get a lot of attention, right? And I would have to say in that case, it would be for me is the Comedy of Errors. It was the first Shakespearean comedy that I read because I thought the name was hilarious, and I was like 14, so I'm not sure how much of it I grasped at the time. But yeah, that would be that one. It's so yeah. As far as maybe slightly, I really enjoyed 12th Night as well, but I'm not sure that really counts as obscure. So also obscure works could be any of the sonnets because the sonnets are not as well remembered.
Oh, I was actually going to say sonnet number 29, which is When in Disgrace with Fortune in Men's Eyes. I think is probably my favorite obscure work of his.
See, I'm not as familiar with the sonnets altogether, so I couldn't even name one off mine without looking them up. I should read more Shakespeare. This is true. I did give a reading through to 12th Night recently, but I need to go back to it for other reasons. But so, do you have a favorite obscure Shakespeare work, Barry?
You know, my sentiment was I too need to go through some more Shakespeare because honestly, I just know the classics. You know, Hamlet, which we were talking about the other day. Actually,
Yeah, we were talking about Hamlet just the other day. Believe it or not.
Yeah, it might be just my favorite one that comes to mind. But
because if you guys didn't know, Barry lives here. Not like in this basement. He lives in a different building. in the same town.
Let me out, Matt.
There's a second basement that you have to go through a crawl space to get to.
Yeah,
It's the
I'm
only
actually
way in
next
and out.
door. It's like just a crawl space.
It's
Like
the
just like a
ideal
little hobbit
comics
spot.
compound.
Yeah.
There's only one set of doors, and they're in my house.
We specifically he made a door. It's only like barely 2x2, so just going through is just a pain.
Dude, I couldn't fit through a doorway that size anymore.
Anymore, excuse me. Yeah. Well, that's why it's been made that way, right? Like
I got that.
we can't squeeze through when we're drinking, so it
I
just
got
saves
that.
everyone some ordeals.
So anyhow,
Not obscure at all, but underrated. I really like Taming of the Shrew. I think that's actually his best work.
I was that is.
I can see you really like Taming of the Shrew.
I was going to say that for my obscure, but I don't think it's obscure.
I like in terms of romances. In this similar theme, it's not the same theme, it's similar theme, but I prefer Much Ado About Nothing to Taming of the Shrew because
They're both really good.
Yeah, they are. But I like the open humility by the time that the Benedict and Beatrice come together. They just are both in such a diametrically opposed place because they've removed pride, and it's such a big factor for them both to have gone that journey that I think it makes the fulfillment of the last part of the story more poignant. So, because pride is such a topic in Much Ado, but yeah. Next question on the list. Anything? Almost anything. What the hell happened to Captain Cummings? Not his whereabouts, his behavior. Nothing. Phil is always entirely consistent with Phil.
Yeah, he seems the same to me.
Yeah, Philip. If you cross his friends and you lie, then you face his wrath. And Philip does things he thinks are interesting and doesn't know you nothing. So there you go. It's always been Captain Cummings. I need to give that guy a call. I haven't talked to him in a while. But okay, here's the almost. Are there any positive integers A, B, and C that can satisfy the equation AN plus BN equals CN for an integer value of n greater than 2? I am the wrong Reese to answer that question. My youngest is getting into computer programming and is studied all that kind of stuff. I could probably suss it out, but I'm not going to. Does anybody else want to weigh in on this, or we're just going to move to the next question?
I only recently began programming, so yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah. Well, for he's doing calc and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah.
A manufacturing company produces two types of widgets, type A and B. The company produce a maximum of 500 widgets per day. The question is
who
incomplete.
the hell writes your questions? BioWare?
I don't know. 7 is human, but so is
on principle. I don't help people with their homework unless I'm getting paid.
There you go.
This is 20 years ago when I was still fresh on calc and algebra, man.
I will say this much, that they should lean in to whichever product has the largest ratio return to profit return and ratio of that to the market size. So that's how they should wage that balance. So okay, on to the next question. Jim Tuner says, is there an Earth 1 Wildcat in the DC universe? Currently, I don't know with how everything's shaken out. Good
question.
Before the New 52, there were 2. Wait a second. I think I'm wrong. Those were both Earth 2 legacy characters prior to the Crisis on Infinite Earths. I don't think there was an Earth 1 Wildcat because Earth 2 Wildcat was still the mentor of the Earth 1 Black Canary, who was she came over from Earth 1 from Earth 2 to Earth 1. And so she was still mentored by the Earth 2 Wildcat. I don't think there was an Earth 1 Wildcat prior to the crisis. Where you guys are way down the list, so I'll have to see if I'm remembering right. Do either of you guys remember?
I believe it's just the one guy. There was never.
Yeah, I don't think so. So Hutch, if Hutch was here, he would know just for sure. But I think that I caught the trick question, which is interesting because post-crisis, Ted Grant was one of the mentors of. Okay, hang on a second, guys. Think of something pithy to say. I got to do some reading.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of jealous of Metal's avatar background. That's way more color than I have on set. So I mean,
It was the 5th anniversary collab for the website and webcomic going up. A bunch of other people submitted some fan art for me to put into a bigger piece together.
okay. Yeah, it looks great. It's very, very fancy. Very.
Okay.
What?
Okay. I have the newsstand trade paperback of the Untold Legend of the Batman, right, which was the last version of the pre-crisis origin of Earth 1 Batman prior to the crisis, right?
Okay.
And in it, see if I can't show this here. Bruce is taught basic sleuthing and boxing by Harvey Harris, a Gotham City private detective, and I believe that in post-crisis, his origin was retconned to separate his training from just the one detective and into a Ducard and Ted Grant and a bunch of others. So
Okay.
I do think that there was never an Earth 1 Wildcat. That's my take, and we'll see if Jim. I'm sure Jim already knows, and so we'll see down in the chat if I was right or wrong as we move back there. Oh, okay. Seven's got more of his question. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna skip it.
7 is now officially my favorite, but also my most hated.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Is Corey in the House a Marvel Universe canon? I'd have no idea. I would love to know more.
Trying to think if there was ever any possibility for a crossover, because this is a Disney property, so they could just pull the character in for no reason. But
yeah, well, and here's the thing about that: like when Disney bought Marvel, this is a total side note. When Disney bought Marvel, that was happening at the same time, or just after the same time, as that last. I can't remember the name of the event, but the event that destroyed the Ultimate Universe, right? Where they mashed all the worlds together and then out, and there's no more 616, and
Right.
then the new universe is just the 616 plus like 6 characters from the multiverse. And there's still a multiverse, but it's not the same multiverse. Spider-Man. What the hell? But when they did that, I thought that they were going to incorporate the Disney version of Big Hero 6 into the Marvel universe, because the original Marvel Big Hero 6 never really caught, and the Disney Big Hero 6 kind of did. And so I thought they were going to do it that way, and they didn't even do that at all. They didn't reboot the original Big Hero 6. They didn't bring in the Disney Big Hero 6. It was nothing. I was like, man, what a fart in a windstorm this event was.
Seems like a lost opportunity, doesn't it?
It did, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Corey in the House is Marvel Universe canon or not.
But it is the best anime, so you got that.
What? Was it?
It's a meme. It's a meme.
Okay.
Right. Anybody's like, "What's your favorite anime, Corey in the House?"
It's one of those Zoomer things. I'm too old to understand. Is that what this is about?
Trying to anger us.
Okay. Larry asked, "What is your favorite Bond villain or Bond book?" Oh, well, I only read one. I thought it was Bond villain at first. I was like, "It wouldn't be James Bond." James Bond is the best Bond villain. I've only read The Spy Who Loved Me. I was so sickened by it. I have no interest in reading anything Fleming ever wrote.
Gold member.
Has either of you guys read any Bond?
I read the original, kind of like, this isn't even a full book, but the original Casino Royale,
Yeah,
which I liked it. I didn't think it was bad or anything. Like, it
I
was
can't remember which
entertaining.
one I read. My grandma had laying around the house when I was quite young, and I was like, "Oh, James Bond," because the movies, right? No, not James Bond. It was traumatizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
was-
almost misread that question before we started when I saw it. I thought he was saying, what's your
Nebraska,
favorite
really?
band book?
Band book, like
Yeah,
band,
a
like
musician. Yeah.
book about a band. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever read.
Well,
Like-
by default, I guess I'd have to go with that. Well, no, I think I like Josie and the Pussycats more than Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
See, I've not read Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Ah,
Oh, I guess if we're looking
never
about
seen the Josie
band
Pussycat one.
comic book, I think my favorite band comic book is probably, it's not really about a band, but a band is a big part of it, which is Dan Connor's Heaven Forbid, actually, which is about Chelsea and her friends, and they're in a band, and they go to church and they talk about Jesus, and it's all kinds of stuff. I love it.
So mine is the X-Men because Dazzler hung with the X-Men for a while. So I'm just joking.
Sure, why not? We'll
Yeah.
let that.
Yeah.
We're not answering an actual last question, so I guess we'll let that one slide.
Yeah.
Might as well. Also, there's this webcomic with band stuff that I saw that I need to read more of. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
About a pair of sisters, and there were people that were chasing them down at a beach.
I've always wanted to do the pseudo band thing, kind of like the old 80s stuff, similar to
Like, do you mean
Buckaroo
like
Banzai?
do you mean being in a band, or do you mean like in a comic?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you can't have
No.
my
So like how you've seen Buckaroo Banzai, right? So
No.
he's a okay. Well, shame on you. We'll stone you later. But he's a scientist, doctor, musician, right? So I want to do like a comic book with a super spy band, just ridiculous stuff with transforming fast, fancy robot cars and stuff. Just a bunch of untapped territory right there.
Well, I haven't seen it. People keep telling me I should watch it. I do someday.
Yeah, it's great. It's horribly great, and it's also
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, next question. If you could magically transform into any inanimate object for a day, what object would you choose, and what wild adventure would you have? Well, inanimate objects cannot experience adventure, so I don't.
This one can.
They can only be part of an adventure, and so I suppose maybe an Indy 500 race car.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
nice. How
know.
about you, Metal?
About I don't know, a Magnum revolver, like a Colt Python.
Oh man, how many holes?
There's
did
some
you
wild
create today?
adventures there.
Man.
And that's how I stopped the home invasion.
You should have heard about the one where I killed the buffaloes. I don't know. I think like the Golden Gate Bridge or something like that. Amazing views and imagine all the stories you're gonna hear from all the craziness.
Yeah,
Make
just
those-
being driven over for a whole day. That's my dream.
That's not where I was thinking with that, but that kind of tells me some.
I'm telling you, that's how I feel on the daily. I'm just tired. I feel like
Just being tread on the whole time.
I've been the bridge of the world, man.
Man, you don't know how much I've been tread on and how much weight I've carried today, man.
You think you know what life is like? You don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds like an inspirational poster. One of those that's just like
You don't know
when I
nothing
stand
until
up,
you're
I've
the
stood
Golden
up
Gate
for 100
Bridge.
years. I'll stand up for more. The Golden Gate Bridge. Next question. Jim Tuner asks, did Mysterio really rape Black Cat? No, they're not real.
Way to avoid that one.
Yeah,
I
I'm
commend
not
you.
familiar with the story, so I can't say. Oh man, my battery's almost dead. Pardon me while I
It
plug
would
in.
not be a proper Matt with his computer working without.
Yeah, it's got a new battery in it though, so I have a little bit of time to actually get myself plugged in. I usually like to have the thing plugged in ahead of time, so when this happens, I don't have to make a scene. I just can lean over and plug it in real quick.
Fair.
Hey, Cartoonicus joins us.
Hey,
Howdy,
sorry, I
Cartoonicus.
couldn't find the link at first till somebody
Oh, that's
posted
fine,
it on
man.
Twitter.
It's no sweat. Or you're just asking random questions. So, do you happen to know? You probably don't. Did Mysterio really rape Black Cat?
Okay,
Nothing hard.
sorry.
Yeah.
I
Nothing.
had both the YouTube and stream going at the same time, and they were.
Oh, I can see that being a challenge. So, I do not know the answer to this question. Larry,
I don't either.
I honestly have never heard this.
yeah. Larry points out at least you didn't have the orange sky from Canada. We actually had orange skies just a few weeks ago. We had a really bad smoke and stuff coming through here, and then we had a week full of rain. So maybe they were connected.
Yeah, me, Madre actually had messaged me, asked if any of that stuff from down north had gotten to us, and I said no.
Well, everybody's showing what pictures of New York looks like, and I'm thinking, are we sure that's from Canada?
Well, in fairness, like Denver, like in the evening, it's always orange skies down there because of all the because Denver is it's built in a depression in the plains where a depression in the plains meets the front of the Rocky Mountains, so they're kind of in a bowl. So Denver will get really bad pollution over it, and you'll build up until a really strong west wind comes in and blows it all clear again. Man, I hate that place. I'm so glad I moved away.
The area is beautiful, but even as I enjoy cities, but it's not my favorite.
So the Dust Bowl never really ended.
Sort of. It's just it is a dust bowl.
Different. It's a different.
It's a smog bowl. Yeah, I lived down there for 9 months, my senior year in high school, and we wake up every morning and the radio would give our air quality. Yeah, and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Is Jim Tuner asks, is Nebraska a real place?
Funny that you should ask. It is not.
It
We're
is
mythical creatures.
Yeah, it's a surreal place.
This is magic.
No, but Wakanda is.
It's a place out of time and space. There are corners where the old West never ended.
This is actually true.
There are places you can walk into that you will not walk out of again.
That's also very true.
Hey, Metal. What's your
Whoa!
face?
We got a metal sighting.
Oh, I was done eating, so I figured I'd come back in.
My turn.
To repeat, we are back to this question: what if the Twitless? Just in case anybody new has showed up, we don't know. He just said he couldn't make it, and I respect his privacy. So,
I think people are
hopefully
starting to doubt your.
wherever you're out there in the ether Twitless, hope you're having a twitful day.
I like
Whatever
that.
that's supposed to mean.
He should use stuff like that.
What?
I said I like that. He should use
Sign off,
lines like
Twitless,
that.
when we sign off. Wherever you are, Twitless.
And God bless you wherever you are, Mrs. Calabas. Okay.
There you go.
There's a reference that
I was gonna
kids
say
don't
I
get.
think I'm probably the only person who's gonna get that.
So Fizz says he transformed into a woman's purse, which, there's some sense in that. Although having a cleaned out occasionally help people clean out their purses, the bottom of the purse is a terrifying thing.
Yeah, I
What-
don't think that's a good option, to be honest. Not
How
at
about
all.
Felix's bag of tricks?
I don't know if that counts as inanimate. I mean, it was literally animated.
That's
Boom.
a pretty big catch there. So
Jim
Jim
wants to
Tuner
talk
says,
all night.
was Thanos right?
No.
And
Really not.
Not
first of all,
this.
hey, first of all, we got to talk about which version of Thanos' plan.
Ooh.
MCU Thanos, no. And I'll tell you right now why. The whole thing, this is one of the reasons that made that movie suck so freaking bad. Oh
Can you
my
do
God.
it in less than 5 minutes, Matt? Because I want to talk about this also.
1/2 of Earth's population in 2014, or when that movie came out in, what was it, 17?
16.
1/2 of the world's population in 2017 was the world's population in 1972. There were no whales in the Hudson in 72. They didn't have a significant difference in pollution in 72. 50% of the world's population would do nothing to, even if the idea that we're overpopulating the planet was true, that would have done nothing. And it would have,
You could
if
get
it
it
would have
back
done
in one
nothing in a
generation.
planet full of billions, then it would do nothing in a universe full of trillions. It's stupid. and then so all of them pretending, now the people that were mad because a bunch of their family members died, and okay, that makes sense. But the people that are just like, maybe it's better this way. Oh, maybe Thanos. Dude, do the math. You're an idiot.
I could probably list about 24 different either holes in the problems that would actually be made worse by the idea, or ways in which his logic is just completely messed up. Where, for
Yeah.
instance, what Black Widow apparently says he wiped out half of all living things, and I'm like, okay, doesn't that include like half of all resources?
Bacteria.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
Yeah, why didn't he just increase the resources in the universe?
well,
yeah.
that's
Well,
what
and
somebody
even-
else said
even
recently.
that, okay,
I was like, yeah.
and this is the Marvel universe, right? Where Tony has discovered cold fusion, infinite power, and
Yeah.
he's the last person in the universe to have it. Right? Everybody else in the universe already
Thanos
has the
is like,
technology. No, we're done. No, there's no energy crisis. There's
But I
no
have this cool
pollution
glove.
issue. There's nothing. We're done.
Arr.
I've been
There's a-
saying for a while now that between Stark, what's Pym, Wakanda, and Shield, the entire MCU or entire Marvel universe in general should look like some futuristic mega city.
Indeed.
So yes, he was right.
All right, explain.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
Okay.
So now I don't know enough about the comic version of his plan,
Well,
other
love
than I
can
know
never
he
be
was
wrong.
trying to impress a chick.
Yeah, I
he
was
was
gonna
just a
say
simp.
that's all it was.
That's you've got some pretty decent motives. Maybe you went around it the wrong way, but
Yeah.
yeah,
He's trying to go big for a chick, man. Heck yeah.
I
I mean,
gotta
literally
respect-
is the embodiment of death, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Who? What's not to
Okay,
love?
well, and here's the thing I got a question about this. So why is the Marvel version of death like a Grim Reaper but a girl's skeleton, right? But the DC version of death is that cute goth girl we all had a crush on. So I don't know. It's like I 19-year-old Matthew would have jumped through lots of hoops to impress that goth girl. I'm
Never
not
been
sure
to the goth
I would
girl.
do a whole lot for the skeleton.
I'm no expert, but I've noticed death is portrayed as a female in many, many old stories, and I have to assume anyway. Again, I'm not the historian here, but I would assume this goes back to the Norse character Hel,
Oh,
who was the
Lana.
owner of the Queen of the Dead, right? So that makes it weird when the Marvel universe has her and Death in the same universe together, doesn't it?
Well, Shiva was in the Hindu triumvirate. Shiva the Destroyer, Shiva's wife consort. I can't remember her name right now. Kali was death. So death and destruction were wed. So
They were also
that
the
was
same
one.
person.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's because they're different entities that represent the same being, and a lot of them were basically in marriage with the other half of themselves.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Hindu mythology is not a straight 1-to-1, like in the same.
right.
It's more complicated in terms of its implication, but they are still there's still a separateness to them.
Yeah, it's very similar to a lot of the very, very old, like
It's like the Roman and Greek gods.
well, even
Same thing
before
happened.
that, like because a lot of the very early Egyptian is the same too, and it seems to all come out of the same valley, right around where Persia was.
Yeah. Well, and sort of. I mean, with the
That-
Egyptian Osiris, he's the king of the dead, but he can only
No,
live.
I'm talking
in
about
the...
further back to their primordial gods, where with the creation story.
Mm-hmm.
They have more of like I
Well,
am
I
my
think-
own consort with different versions of myself.
Well, yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. Well, I mean, the earth and the sky, they're in two halves of the same created whole. But they're still distinct.
Well, it's the only religion I know of that seems to combine ideas from both polytheism and monotheism into one.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's a lot.
There's a lot. Oh, I mean, part of it is like henotheism, the idea that there are many divine, there are divine or godly or spiritual beings and forces and rulers that are subject under a divine creator. There are a lot of tribal societies in many different parts of the globe that held the idea that there was a single creator that created everything, and one of the things the creator created were the gods that ran these different, or basically managers for different aspects in creation. So that's a theme that shows up a lot too.
So Thanos was not right.
So Thanos is not right.
All this to say.
Yeah. Hiroshi, my first year in college, 2004, someone made a huge chalk mural of Pixel Mario from Mario 3 on the side of the map. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That dude is a hometown hero.
Right?
Yeah. Fizz asked me a question. I don't know. What is the latest version of Unreal Engine that doesn't require the launcher? I have no idea.
I would
use
say
Game
3
Maker,
was probably the
sorry.
last one that didn't use the launcher.
I'm sorry, what?
What one?
3 was probably the last one that didn't use Epic's launcher, because 4 definitely did. And if you're talking about 3, you're going back to like when people were making games on the Wii.
Yeah, that was back, at least 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole thing. I did hear, is it Unreal that they have where where you can get the
Unity?
no, there was somebody was telling me that they're one of those popular game engines that people can develop on, that there is a program that you can install to like use it as a movie maker.
Yeah, Unreal's got that.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember.
There's
Steam
a few different
or
ones. Source Engine from Steam. Also, there's the Source Filmmaker, and
I think that was the one it was. Now, I think that was the one I was telling me about. I think it may have been like it.
I believe I understand that. Oh darn, what's it called? Unity is almost as popular as a filmmaking system now than it is as a game making.
Both Unity and Unreal are. There's a lot of people that have been using Unreal for movies and stuff like
wouldn't be
that, because you can
surprised.
do all of your like computer integrated assets that way.
And especially in animated movies, you're programming half of it anyway. So it's like you might as well have a system that's made to do that.
So just take a break here. I would like to point out that this show is not being sponsored by Glacial Till Craft Ciders in Palmyra, Nebraska, but it might be being fueled by them. So there you go.
Why didn't you share?
Interesting.
Well, because you're not here. Remember, we live in different buildings.
I'm looking at the hole right there. Get it over here.
Hand it through the
Yeah.
Yeah. Break that fourth wall.
Oh man, if we'd set this up ahead of time, that would be an amazing bit to do right now.
Have Tully stand next to you.
That would be funny.
So, there you go, Fizz. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Is it death in his comics or is it male just to be different? That's not that different though. I mean, you go. A lot of mythology was like that. A lot of stories. I mean, Thanatos in Greece is death. So
Well, and you know, like Hades is the king of the realm of the
well,
dead.
he's the king of the underworld.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
And
it's more
mostly
than
he's in
that.
charge of making sure that these his like father and the others that they trapped in Tartarus don't
Tartarus,
get
yeah.
out.
Am I the only one who grew up with Andrew from Touched by an Angel?
With
Yes.
what?
Andrew from Touched by an Angel.
Where did the angel touch you? Point to
Ha
a Andy
ha.
stall.
I knew somebody was going to make that joke.
I was
So,
yeah. I
okay.
was like,
I actually
Sorry.
I think I'm aware of that character.
Yeah.
But I haven't thought about that series in a very long time. So
if you had to wear a costume every day for the rest of your life, what costume would you choose and why?
I think I would dress as a comic writer.
Oh,
Metal?
I think he meant an
Is that
official
a
costume.
is that a gi, buddy? Are you wearing a gi?
Yes, that is a gi.
All right, there we go. Can you get tossed in it though?
Yes, it is a medium weight gi.
All right, there we go. That was good to go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. No, if I had to wear a costume every day, I don't know. Like I mean, like I could dress in a Chuck Dixon costume every day pretty easily. I've got the Hawaiian shirts already.
You do.
I'd have to keep my hair short, which wouldn't be my favorite, but that's
I got
okay.
you covered.
So, my beard's almost gray enough. It's getting there.
Hey.
So, how about you, Cartoonicus? Would you wear a costume every day?
I think I would want to dress up as a perfectly convincing costume of, say, I'm going to say someone like William Shatner. And then whenever if people come up and ask me for an autograph, I would charge them $100.
I like it. I like
See,
it.
I was afraid you were going to say Felix the Cat, and I was going to get real uncomfortable.
I'm just a nerd. I would have to do the, you know, those Transformer ones like Optimus Prime or Bumblebee, where you can just like transform down kind of into a car and vroom around. I'm sure in a few years you'll actually be able to vroom around. So I'm just gonna like
Ooh.
transform. I'm just gonna be Optimus Prime.
Self-driving.
Yeah, just cruise around all the time.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Young Barry would have loved that.
That's hilarious.
Do Transformers count as self-driving cars?
Yes.
I think so.
They're also self-aware cars.
Are they also counting as electric? Because I don't know if I want to go down this path if they do.
What do they run on?
The Allspark. So yeah, they're electric.
Yeah. Wow, I feel dirty.
Jim Tuner asked, will there ever be a second issue of the Gospel Blimp? Not if I can help it.
The hoobity whatty?
I am unaware of the Gospel Blimp, but I don't know if you know this, Jim, but I went through a 2-week period where I was fascinated with lighter than air aircraft. And I was reading it like every spare minute I had. And my wife, she says, "You're doing it again." And I said, we've been married like 5 years at this point. And I said, we were in the car driving somewhere, and I was just talking to her about the different kinds of classes of airships. And I said, "You're doing it again." And I said,
That's great.
"What?" She says, "Every time you get a mild interest in something, you spend all of your time obsessing about it, and then you inflict it on everyone you talk to." And I said, "I just think they're cool." And she's like, "I know, but you're doing it again."
I feel her pain.
I
God
was
bless her.
unaware that was something that I did. This compulsory research.
See,
But
I have to
I can
talk to
relate.
myself and do that because I don't have friends.
well, that's just sad. What were you going to say,
Always.
Metal?
Oh, it's just I can relate.
Yeah.
I'll just get hooked on a subject for a while, and I'll just dive straight into it.
Oh yeah.
Well, and
And it'd be like the only thing I talk about for like the next 2 or 3 weeks.
So I knew I got into comics that way back in the day, but it had been such an abiding long-term thing that I never really thought I never realized it transferred to other things. And when she pointed this out to me, I was like taken aback, and I took a look at myself and I said, "Oh my, I do this thing."
Are you the real
And
Matthew?
and so I've found the need to curb that in every once and again. So that several years ago, but about a decade ago, a bunch of my friends all got into Doctor Who for whatever reason. That was the thing at that time in life. And they're like, "Reese, you'd love this show." And I said, "No."
Yeah, I was gonna say my condolences.
I said, "No." And I said, they're like, "But you'd really like it." And I was like, no. It's not about whether I like it or not. The issue is that I know who I am. And this has 60 years of context.
Yeah.
Do you want to have the time? Nope.
I would have to go back and read all the old scripts for the shows that they lost. And I'd have to watch all the recreations and absorb all the fan culture. And I don't want to do that to myself. I don't want to care about Doctor Who, so I'm intentionally not caring. I'm not saying
Well,
it's
this is
bad.
a question about
I'm
a
not
blimp
saying
we
it's
turn into
good.
Doctor Who.
I volitionally don't care. And you can love it, but I don't care.
I remember when I first decided I wanted to start reading the Sonic the Hedgehog comics, and I thought it would be a good idea to start right there at the very beginning. And after reading the entire first year, I was like, nope, this is not happening.
So, back to the issue of the gospel blimp. I am unaware of it, but I want to find out about it. And who knows if I find myself captivated by the gospel blimp, and if I ever make this comic book making money thing work, who knows where the second issue of Gospel Blimp may rear its ugly head.
The Gospel
Yeah, he
Blimp
said,
and other parables.
Yeah, you just proved that you'd be the perfect character to star in the second issue of the Gospel Blimp.
Perfect character to star in the second issue.
Gospel Blimpus?
Looks very fascinating, yeah. But yeah, to Metal's point,
So,
I agree.
We'll take a look. We'll put that on the back burner. I'm going to go ahead and put that in a third tab here, and we'll hit search after the show.
All right, what's next?
7 asks if you could have a personal theme song that played every time you entered a room. What song would you choose and why?
Now I just want to steal someone's song like John Cena's.
I love music. I hate questions like this. People are like, "Man, who's your favorite band?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I hope I don't fall in love with you by friggin' I forget his name even for a second.
That's horrible.
Tom Waits. There you go. That's my theme song because Tom Waits. I don't know. The King of the Road by Roger Miller. There you go. That's the one.
Fair,
because I don't know. Well, I don't know. I just like all kinds of stuff, man. Do any of you guys have a theme song you think of when you're in the middle of doing stuff?
To completely subvert expectations, but to be more realistic, Ballroom Blitz by Sweet.
Ballroom Blitz is a great. Actually,
and kind of angry at you now.
I kind of see that.
Yeah, that works. That's good. Cartoonicus?
I'm looking through a list real quick here.
How about you, Barry? While he's looking, do you have one?
Well, it's kind of topical because Tina Turner is amazing, and why not "Simply the Best" by Tina Turner? She's got great music. I love that song. I used to love it all the time when I was young. So.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, there's so many you can go with.
Yeah. I think instead I will simply say to ensure that I never gain any friends, we'll just go with Baby Shark.
Well, time to mute
Dude.
Cartoonicus.
Okay, I gotta. You bring this up. I have to show this here. Hang on a second.
Matt, do you know Janie that is downtown all the time? Older, sweet gal that's a little disabled.
Not sure.
she had me paint a Nemo poster last winter for her because she asked for it. So I did, and now she would like some baby sharks. So when
Baby
I get
shark.
some free time, it's baby shark time.
So I am going to share my screen here because you brought up Baby Shark. I'm going to have to go ahead and do this here. Share screen. Okay. We're sharing Game Boy's plan. This was a Forces page that just launched a couple weeks ago. And
Yeah, I remember
Game
this.
Boy comes to the adventure, comes to the rescue from the plan. They've got to, the setup is that one of their teachers is being in a sugar bubble that is being dissolved in a pool that is full of piranhas. And so the kids at school have to try to save her. And so they're all panicked about it. But Game Boy, he's got himself an idea. And he gets Baby Shark playing through the speakers. And this is an old version of Baby Shark back in 2005 when the story is set. It's not the current Pink Fong version, just in case you're curious there. So he's looking out the speaker. Oh no, it's driving the fish crazy. What's going to happen next? And you'll just have to tune in next week. Actually, that's several weeks ago to tune in because that was an older page. But there you go.
It's
Baby
almost
Shark.
like an anti-plan.
It is. You'd think it would be. His idea was to try to entertain the fish, but, well, Game Boy's not what you'd call a genius. So there you go.
Next, I want to see them have to jump the shark.
Yeah.
No, that's
So there you go. Next question. Oh, just Larry following up. His favorite work is Troilus and Cressida. The idea of Shakespeare doing a Trojan War story is weird. I will definitely. That sounds interesting. I'm going to put that on my list. I need to spend a lot more time reading and listening to Shakespeare. So, Neo says, got any ninja characters among your pantheon? If you mean the main heroes that we typically work on for Ideal Comics, I don't know that we have any direct ninjas. We've had ninjas assassins. We've had disco ninjas. Now, there is a short series that my son and I have been wanting to work on that as a Lego comic that features a group of heroes that get together for breakfast after they do heroing at a diner in Urbana, North Carolina every day. And one of the breakfast champions is a fellow called the Master, who is in fact a ninja, but he hasn't been seen in anything yet. So I know he's not one of the main characters in the universe, but he would be one of the main characters in that particular story. So how about you? Wait. Metal. Aren't all of your characters ninjas?
I don't think any of them would actually qualify definitionally as a ninja, but there are a lot of people who do very stealthy, almost espionage level things involving martial arts. I even have a character who is a jewel thief that uses Shaolin Kung Fu as their main art, but nothing that would be a Japanese spy for a feudal lord. No.
I was gonna say that's pretty close to what a ninja actually was. Like we're
You're
talking
going
about
to the-
traditional, or are we talking Western culture?
I was going to say, you're going with the Gaijin Goomba level of definition here.
Goomba? You mean like the little mushroom guys?
No, he's
Yeah,
a
he's
YouTuber.
I've actually met that guy.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Yeah. I used to go to the Screw Attack Gaming convention a lot, and
Yeah.
he was there a few times.
Nice.
Well,
No, I know that.
so there you go. Seven asks, that's one of the hardest math problems in history. I think you're talking about the integer one, or the other one. I'm not sure. So there you go. I am not math smart, so I feel really.
We
good
were
about
so
not
close.
being able-
We were so close. A few more minutes.
Abigail
We
asks,
got
thank you for
closer.
coming. It's the first time I've gotten to you. How is the zine coming? I don't know. I am not intimately involved in the first one. And Matt, which is largely a Matt Krotz and Twitless joint.
Last I
and
heard, Twitless was still waiting on Matt Krotz to get back to him about it.
So, well, since Matt's got a lot of free time this week, they ought to be getting together over that. Maybe that's what's happening right now.
Probably not.
Probably not. So they were talking about reaching out to me about an art piece that I was working on, but they haven't, and I haven't finished it yet, so I don't feel guilty. So which is good. Oh, Seven continues that a man was knighted by Queen Elizabeth for figuring it out.
Ah, okay.
42. The answer is always 42.
Right.
And I don't, and
Should've gone with
this is more stuff I don't know about there. So formats, I don't know, maybe. Are there any characters you'd like to see in a crossover racing story? Like what kind of racing? We talking like car racing? You know,
if I'm doing that, I'm going for foot. I want Sonic, the Flash, Superman, Roadrunner. Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez, yeah. Roadrunner. Yeah, I'm
You
pretty sure
know,
Stu
I
should be
just
cheating
had-
the whole time, though.
I want Cannonball Run redone with the Muppets.
Heck yeah, man.
Okay, so
Heck yeah.
here's the story that I'm sure that will never happen. But I just had the inspiration for seeing a cross-country motorcycle race between Lone Wolf and Buckskin Boone.
Looking at these characters.
Would Buckskin just be using a bike?
Doug Garrett's Lone Wolf. I've actually let me look at a thing. I've got a picture to show you that's got those guys on it. Buckskin Boone is one of our characters from Force of Good and Evil.
Oh, okay.
And Doug Garrett,
just the best character.
maybe. And Doug Garrett's Lone Wolf is one of his two main characters that he works on. The other one being Psychotron. But let me see.
Yeah, I think somebody also, it might have been after this question or whatever, but there was a wacky races question asked earlier too.
Oh. I was going to go anime.
Oh.
I was going to pull in a couple anime guys and just throw them all into a space race.
Ooh, space races are fun.
Yeah.
Space race would be space
I
race.
was thinking the Bebop. I was thinking ship for Vash. I don't know if he has a ship, but we're gonna get him one. Maybe Cowboy or Space Dandy. If anyone's seen that, I'm sorry. But
Oh yeah, dude, the space race episode in Space Dandy is
it's great.
such a odd ending,
It is
even for that show.
Well, that show. I mean, that show was pretty offbeat, which was kind of some of the better points of it, actually.
I remember I once had a dream where the idea was that all the major sci-fi IPs did a massive TV crossover event.
There you go.
So there's Buckskin Boone and a drawing
I
Barry
remember this guy. Yeah.
and a drawing Barry did of Lone Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually did that with my little phone. What the heck phone was that? It was wasn't even an iPhone. That's a little bit buckskin. Buckskin is a little bit thinner than what I draw him at.
Yeah. I always draw him a little skinny.
Damn you.
Yeah, because he's his size belies his massive strength.
He's huge.
He's superhumanly strong.
Why'd you do that?
Part of the thing. So, Larry says that the Fermat equation or theorem is building on work of many mathematicians over several centuries. So there you go. Oh, hey, this is the Wacky Races featuring reality TV stars. They kind of do that. The Amazing Race is kind of washed up reality star TV. I mean, they've got regular people too sometimes, but a lot of times they're people that used to be in Big Brother and really want to be on TV again, or used to be on Survivor and really want TV again.
Well, now, if anybody ever watched the Turtle drama series, one of their last seasons was the Redonkulous Race, where they basically moved off of the normal pattern and decided to do Amazing Race instead.
Yeah, but the problem with Amazing Race is that there aren't like wacky things like spike traps and somebody digging out a pit filled with alligators that wasn't there yesterday.
With actual blades on it, it's going to attack you. That's awesome. I love those.
So, okay.
There's maybe it was Argentina. There's a really good car commercial where they did like a live action version of the Wacky Races. I'm like, why can't car companies make movies? They would do it way better than the
They
actual
would. They would.
movie.
Well, it's because
production company.
they spend like a small movie budget on a commercial, you know. That's only 30 seconds long. Imagine how much that would cost to do a full.
Well, that's how
course.
the Transformer was originally made.
Of course, with computers anymore, you wouldn't even have to hardly worry about that.
The Transporter,
So,
not Transformer.
yeah. So Larry asked, "What is your favorite Gold Key comic?" I am not certain it got a Gold Key release, but Turok, Son of Stone, is like probably my favorite. Like, I can't remember if it was just gold, if it got a Gold Key release, or if it was just on like Dell's stuff. But I love Turok, Son of Stone. So I also like. I mean, they reprinted a bunch of.
It did, in fact.
Oh, did it? Okay, there you go.
Nice.
That's mine. Any of you guys have a favorite Gold Key book you pulled out of a quarter bin or whatever?
The Girl from Uncle.
Okay, yeah. That's solid. That's good stuff.
Star Trek.
Cartoonicus.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Apologize.
You poser. Go to the flea market and get yourself some old crappy
Hang on,
comics.
cartoon.
Get out.
Let me see if I can mute him.
Come on.
I don't have admin anymore. Silly dance. That's amazing. I might just do a silly dance either way, but I mean that's just my dancing.
I don't know very many proper dance moves, so it would have to probably be the Batusi or the Macarena. I think that's the only two that I can remember.
No, it's got to be
where-
the electric slide. So when you go into the slide, that's where the teleport happens.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that'd be awesome. That's the
I'm
ticket
doing the
right there.
moonwalk into the spin and then boom.
I honestly want to see, or the twist. I guess I can do the twist too. I actually want to see an animation of the electric slide teleportation, though. That's the ticket. So, where would you go with your electric slide?
Because you have to be like really, really cool. So I would go in and out really, really fast. I would probably electric slide onto the halftime show stage at the Super Bowl, warp in and just warp out, and people are like, where did that guy come from?
That's awesome. I'm kind of jelly. That's great.
Dude,
that is great.
That's an amazing moment.
Well, especially because you'd have to, like, not just finish the slide, you would have to
start over again,
loop it back into it to slide again. So
yeah, it's good.
That's amazing.
I don't know. Some guy is.
I think that
wins.
wins.
Doing a
I think
slide.
that wins. I can't top that.
Yeah. I was actually thinking the same thing, but damn.
Oh, really? Okay, sure.
That's I mean.
I think I would have, just out of morbid curiosity, I would go with the Elaine dance from Seinfeld. See what horrifying monstrosity of a place that would take me to.
you don't even know where it's taking you. You're just like
Exactly.
the ritual
Just
To
going.
see
take you
what
somewhere.
blood sacrifice portal would open up underneath me.
Well, I don't remember that, but that's okay.
Yeah, when Elaine drinks at like office parties and stuff, she has this really, really bad dance that like everybody makes fun of, and she only finds out eventually in that episode because somebody shows her.
George referred to it as a full-bodied dry heave.
Forgot about that. That's going back.
I think that episode is one I must have missed. So, Jim Tuner says the Earth One Wildcat question always ruins people's brains. Well, it ruined mine. Damn it. So,
I mean,
I think I finally came up with the right answer, though. Even if I had to do last-minute research off of my shelf, but that's okay. I don't have I mean, I've referred to the shelf like 3 times on the show tonight.
the
That's
shelf does
unusual.
not lie.
The shelf apparently does not lie. I just picked a random smattering of stuff that I've got for the shelf. And apparently it's paying off tonight. Who knows?
You
I'll
must
have
be
to
very
crack a
proud of
screenshot
yourself.
later.
Shelf of truths, comic truths.
So Dave has a very interesting comment about chickens. That is not actually a question, but I'm going to put it on the screen anyway and not comment on it.
Don't have. Okay, apparently you have not seen the movie Chicken Little.
I have no, I haven't. No, it was Chicken Run I saw, which are
Run's
very
great
different,
also.
I think. So, if you had the ability to swap lives with one person or fictional character for a day, who would you choose, and what outlandish things would you do in their shoes?
Oh,
goodness.
this one.
Well, this would break the universe.
Yeah.
Nah, I just like being me. I
That's
guess
lame.
Uh,
Do something.
same.
could
So
I-
I
It's only
choose
for a
me.
day.
I'd like to be the me that didn't have to go to work. Yeah, that's what I want. I want an extra Saturday.
Fair. I would try to decide between what and what.
We're all gonna have to think for an hour before we come up with the best answer for this.
No, see, I'm already a fictional character.
This is true. Yeah.
I just would be Voltron.
be Voltron.
That's 5 characters technically.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how well that counts.
One name, Voltron. I'm going to be.
I'd like to deal with 5 people's personal traumas instead of just mine.
Uh,
All of his things, like as they pilot him around, this is just like the bridge question all over again.
Damn it, metal.
Okay. I noticed in the chat, Cartoonicus, you're talking about how well the Big Hero 6 movie did. I just looked up the wiki. Its budget was 165 million. The box office was 657 million, so it made 5 times its budget.
Yeah, I did a good job.
That's
That's
not counting.
more- yeah, but that's actually
Commercially
probably
successful.
not that great once you factor in taxes and
Well, of course, but then you're also
advertising.
you
Yeah,
got to remember
advertising,
that
yeah.
like you
Well-
got to remember though that like the way they're paid for before they before they come off the theater because of how they shuffle money around. I mean, money isn't real in Hollywood anyway, but
But there are a lot of movies that made bank at the theater
Right.
and
Right.
still actually
Yeah.
Lost money because
Yep. Advertising extra costs, that aren't
Yeah.
factored into actually that first number. Yeah, that's for sure. It's very true.
If I had to pick somebody who wasn't me, though, I would probably go with Tigger from Winnie the Pooh because bouncing
Ooh.
around on my tail would be kind of fun.
That'd be cool. Yeah, Mischief, Rabbit, the whole universe. I was actually reading about Christopher Robin and what's his name?
Okay. So calculating in all expenses, Deadline estimated the film made a profit of 187.3 million. Worldwide, it was the highest grossing animated film of 2014 and one of the highest grossing animated films of all time.
Yeah, it was a
By
success.
grossing over 500 worldwide, it became the 4th Disney release of 2014 to do so. The others being Guardians of the Galaxy, Maleficent, Captain America, Winter Soldier.
well, I don't know why they didn't make a sequel then.
Probably because, no, I don't know. I know that they were talking animated miniseries. They were talking other adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
They made a short at some point.
They had to plan for Phase 4 and that huge money
In March
making deal.
24, I'm sorry, in March 2021, head animator Zach Parrish expressed a desire for a sequel. There have definitely been stories told beyond. I think there's still a lot of potential. There's still plenty of time. The beauty of this animation can pick up the story at the very end of Big Hero, or you can jump in time. We can go wherever we want since it's animation. So there you go. There's also a manga adaptation.
Yeah.
Serialized in magazine special. Okay. I'm
Instead,
tired
they
of
should
reading
just
about
drop it and make a film about the Power Pack.
this. Yeah. There you go. Hawkman versus Archangel. Who wins? That is Hawkman. Okay, well, I mean,
Wait, which iteration of Hawkman we talking?
That's what I got to ask. Which
Yeah.
iteration of Hawkman? Because if we're talking the Venditti Hawkman who remembers all of his lives, 100%, bam. Yeah, he would wipe the freaking floor with Archangel. Because Archangel, he never got over his personal issues, man.
That's what made him so strong. That fueled him.
If he
was
got
Wolverine
over them,
with wings,
he would have
man.
been fine. But like that's his whole thing is his like personal weakness. Like first he didn't feel like he measured up because he was like a rich boy pretending, and then when he got taken over by Apocalypse and got all messed up, he hurt a ton of people and he never got over that whole thing. And then Chuck Austin wrote him, and he's never going to recover from that. So,
wait. Can Hawkman beat Wolverine?
Probably.
Any version that has been on the Justice League, just because of the type of people that he's fought and actually damaged, would probably be able to beat Wolverine.
Well, okay. I mean,
because he fights a lot of things that it takes like heavier hitters like Aquaman or Superman or whatever to actually fight.
Yeah, I mean, and like if you look at like strength in the JLA, right? The classic.
Well, that's
you've got Superman,
different.
Martian Manhunter, right?
Yeah.
Green Arrow, sometimes Aquaman, Hawkman, and that's that's almost neck and neck because like.
Well, if you put like.
Did you mean Green Lantern?
What's that?
What did I say?
Did you mean you said Green Arrow?
Who's like
no, I meant to say Green Lantern. Yeah. I meant to say Green Lantern. Sorry, guys. Oh my god.
It doesn't matter. Batman will beat them all, but
Jim Lee had a great Wolverine.
I'm talking
Archangel showdown.
Yeah.
So Jim Tudor's got it on the money. Hawkman wins because Hawkman fights dirty. That's also
he also
true.
fights gods. Like,
yeah.
The Wolverine has tingled with a few, but how often does Wolverine beat a god in a fight?
It depends like what context is the story in, because like there's been people who wrote there's Wolverine can take on Thanos. There's some crazy Wolverine.
And I think
scaling in DC is just generally higher than Marvel.
It is, yeah. DC, the JLA are gods essentially.
And the other thing I look at is what does it mean to beat Wolverine? I want to go back to that a little bit, right? Because like Hawkman could knock Wolverine unconscious. Wolverine doesn't stay unconscious for very long.
Right.
Right. So like it's kind of a war of attrition because Hawkman is probably as strong as Wolverine, right?
He's I don't know. I think some versions could like just take that mace and baseball bat Wolverine into space.
Well, yeah. I mean, you base bat Wolverine, you give him a concussion, he passes out, and then
if he's in space, he's not coming back.
Oh, yeah.
He's frozen.
The thing about Wolverine is that he'll take on just about anybody if that's what the writers want.
Exactly.
But at the same time, he's also likely to be the one who immediately gets flattened just so they can show how tough the new guy is.
The villain is,
Right?
Yeah, his skeleton is apparently tough enough to withstand the force of an exploding sun.
Right. Who's faster, Hawkman or Archangel?
I would say Hawkman.
Well, yeah, okay. Like I think it depends on which Hawkman, right? Because like one of the things about the nth metal is nth metal responds to the person using it. So, like Hawkman didn't know, like Golden Age Hawkman in the Golden Age, like didn't know how to use it well. By the time he incarnated as Katar Hall from Thanagar, I mean he was raised fighting it, using it on Thanagar. So, then when he comes back in the most recent series. And he's because of the way he was reincarnated, he has access to all of his memories, or gains access to all of his memories. I mean, he could theoretically, Hawkman could leave Earth orbit just with his wings. Now he has to breathe and stuff, so I mean, space flight's not something you can just do, but he can leave Earth orbit with just his wings. So
Archangel was like subsonic, so I wasn't sure if it was a speed thing or anything.
So. Yeah, there's.
Yeah. Hawkman has kept up with like Hal Jordan flying around the planet before. So it's like,
yeah. Fine, DC cheats again.
Probably. So, next question: what's your opinion of the arc for Superman of our Ultimate Captain America solving America's problems by punching them? I think that was, first of all, problems that need punching. That's the right answer for them. Secondly, Mark Millar hates America, and his entire foray into the Marvel universe is just to insult us. And so I also hate him.
There we go.
So
you could say ultimate anything, and I'm probably not going to like it. I do not have a strong favor for anything in the Ultimates.
The only
Even the
thing,
initial Ultimates.
the only thing in the Ultimates that I liked, the only idea that I really liked, was that Miles Morales, like finding himself in need of filling a space and living up to a legacy and that kind of stuff. I thought that was handled interestingly. The stuff that I've read of it, which isn't all of it, is just a little bit of it, but I enjoyed that take on it, which is why it kind of makes me bummed that they've never been able to really make him land. They kept him around after the merge, but he hasn't really. It's a fart in a windstorm. Again, I was going to say it. I mean, like, what the hell? Morales is nothing in that. And the only way to make him relevant in the movies is to bring up the whole Spider-Verse thing, and God, Ultimate Universe is just to wear me out. So.
Yeah, they're fun, but you have to separate it all.
So, have you read any Doc Savage books?
I guess Reese has not.
No, I haven't. I haven't taken the time. So I definitely, it's on the list of stuff I want to read. Just like I started reading Princess of Mars, and I didn't get very far because I had something come up and I didn't get back to it. So yeah, there's a bunch of old pulp stuff that I really want to dig into. I started reading, which I didn't finish, one of the Saint novel. Shadow novels. I want to read more Shadow stuff. I've read several of the Saint novels. I want to read more Raymond Chandler. All that kind of. There's tons of stuff that I haven't read yet. So
I would love to see a big crossover with like Shadow, Phantom, Dick Tracy,
Lone Ranger.
all those
Dynamite.
1930s characters.
Dynamite Comics did a series called Masks that was pretty much that. I don't know how. I've read one issue of it, and it did a really poor job. It was like I read like issue 2. I got out of a dollar bin. And I was really unimpressed with it because it's in the middle of the story and nobody explains anything. So if you didn't pick up issue 1, you're completely lost. And so, leaning on the old adage where every comic is somebody's first comic, I felt like they did a really poor job of keying anything in. And that's one thing, like, growing up in Marvel and DC books back in the early 90s, a lot of those writers had the ability to retell, use dialogue and narration to fill in the gaps of what you might have missed last month because you never knew what you were going to get on the newsstand. But in a way that if you did read it, you didn't feel like you were just reading old information. It gave it a spin or somebody else's perspective on it. So, Commissioner Gordon explains what he knows about it. And, last month you saw it through Alfred's perspective. So, or whatever it was. So, they have it so they're able to find ways of filling those in. But a lot of these modern writers writing for the trade don't have that skill. And, that's actually something I want to be talking about in a couple of weeks is, what killed the American floppy comics. And I want to actually have I want to see if, speaking of Captain Cummings, I want to see if he's free to come on and talk about that a little bit, and maybe Englentine. If I can get him to even acknowledge, we've talked before, but I don't know if it's worth his time to come on my show because he's a busy dude. But
pay him like you did me.
Pay him like you did you.
Let me see. This is why I just don't explain anything that's important. So first time and long time readers are all equally lost.
You say that, but that's not true.
Oh, see, you think anything I've said up to this point in my story is important?
So,
I have not actually. My brother was reading through them when we were kids, but not sure what happens to them.
So Fizz says he's never read Scott Pilgrim. Me either, although it's on my list someday. Even if I dislike it, I just want to understand the phenomenon because it was such a big deal.
Well, see, a lot of things that people dislike about Scott Pilgrim actually aren't in the graphic novel version.
Mm-hmm. So, best band comic ever was Josie and the Pussycats, Jim says.
I agree.
Oh, this is an interesting perspective. I used to be the Scott Pilgrim. It has the same problem I ultimately have with Watchmen. That is not a comparison I ever imagined anyone saying. Maybe it's because I haven't read Pilgrim, but
especially if you're looking
more
too on like the result it had on stories after it.
That may be it. That would make sense. Yeah, I would be interested to hear the rest of your statement. Maybe it's in the chat as we go.
Yeah, it's hard for me to wrap my head around because I never was able to understand the point of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't read it at all, so I don't know. I do know the point of Watchmen.
Right, that's really easy. It's in your face. But Scott Pilgrim is like, what? Why is any of this happening?
Side note, I just started reading. Well, just I'm like into the third issue of the Saga of the Swamp Thing. From Alan Moore from 1983, and so far, I am really enjoying it. It might knock the Whatever Happened with Man of Tomorrow off of my favorite Alan Moore book.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So, well, we'll have to move that.
Yeah,
on.
but to surmise, if you actually read the graphic novels, the main message of Scott Pilgrim is getting over yourself.
Well, that's important.
Yeah.
The Dreadnoughts from G.I. Joe had a band, a Cold Slither.
The Dreadnoughts were amazing. They were cool. Those are some of the best action figures from G.I. Joe.
That's amazing. Point out in the chat, if you want to go back and check it out there, the Metal dropped a link to the story I was talking about of his band comic.
Yeah, On Tour with Mitch and Sandy.
On Tour with Mitch and Sandy.
I
always forget the title. I'm sorry. I'm a bad
That's
friend.
because I've changed the title. I kind of like gaslighted people into thinking that the title was different. I went back in time and actually like changed all the logos and everything.
Maybe that's what it was. So, Buckaroo Banzai was a repackaging of Doc Savage.
Yeah. In a lot of ways.
Well, there you go. Dude, Mrs. H, hello.
Evening.
Okay. What's this? Oh, no, that inanimate objects don't go on. That's what this is back to.
Yeah, and then they had Toy Story after that too. And all
Brave
examples.
Little Toaster classic.
Mrs. H says, I thought this awesome isekai idea. A woman comes back as a broken vending machine. Oh.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's more deep and touching than a lot of things I've watched or read recently.
I remember coming up with.
Oh my god!
I was afraid.
It gets worse.
Try to use it. She falls in love with.
Keeps using him.
Dave said he'd be inanimate objects. He'd be a mountain. Mrs. H, if you're still listening, you just broke my heart.
Well, it was anything I ever read.
I remember coming up with the idea for a Pixar movie where a pet dies and comes back as a stuffed animal.
It's horrible.
That's a tough. That kid's gonna be tough. Me and Tiny are gonna crush some things now.
That's Pixar for you.
Jim Tuner says, "Does Marvel anime stories happen in the comics universe or the MCU universe?" Ooh, I think it's its own, isn't it?
I think it's its own.
It's its own like world. It had like a number to it, but I think because like the MCU has its own multiverse of worlds that's separate from like the other media for the most part. I want to say it's connected to the comics, especially because they started establishing that before they started connecting things to the MCU.
Yeah.
So I remember there were one or two animated films a while back that did actually take place in the MCU.
Okay.
Yeah. But Also, the MCU has a lot of duplicate versions of things that are also connected to the comic, so it could be both. There's just like 2 versions of it in each universe.
That's the problem when you get multiverses of multiverses.
Oh God, we gotta
Yeah.
stop talking about this. I'm losing
Yeah,
the
I
will
don't-
of the world. Okay,
Don't
so
care
Seven asks if you travel back in time and have a dance off with any historical figure, who would you choose?
7, you come up with the craziest questions.
Is it first? Is it a dance off to the death?
Oh,
What?
Because I will pick John Wilkes Booth on the chance I get to kill him.
wow, that just made things different.
Okay.
And if I survive, Woodrow Wilson is next.
Who's that? Who was that jerk Tyrannosaurus Rex in? Was it Land Before Time or the little foot?
Sharp tooth.
Yeah, that fucker's going down.
Jerry,
Chomper.
I don't think you could outdance a Tyrannosaur.
Dude.
I'm sorry, man.
The little kid was
You don't-
Chomper.
Jumper. Awesome. I'm talking about the big one.
Oh, the big one? Yeah,
big old
There was
baddie.
no specific one. They were all sharp teeth.
Oh, okay.
There was a couple different ones.
I'm talking about the big old main Tyrannosaurus. That fucker. Evil.
Let's see. Dance off. Historical
that-
figure.
To the pain.
How is
he
Sharp
says.
Tooth a historical
pain.
figure?
Princess Bride reference there. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have my list.
Yeah, I'm still trying to think about it.
I don't dance, nor do I believe I could dance.
I believe that because
So,
cats don't dance.
I'd be needing to.
God damn it.
I'm guessing as I see a cat on the Cartoon Cast thing here, that there's more to this.
Oh my! I have a lot of main characters I draw who are cats, and my avatar is usually one of my characters.
Okay.
Oh, that was very quick on the draw. No, my point was, since I probably can't dance to save my life, I would have to choose someone like
Like Helen Keller.
I was gonna say FDR. FDR or
That's
Stephen
funny, 'cause
Hawking.
FDR is the third on my list.
Stephen
I was
Hawking.
thinking
Let's
Hitler.
go
I
with
could have
Stephen
a draw off
Hawking
with him.
because
crush
that's
him.
the only chance I have of winning.
That's hilarious. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Well, no, I didn't answer.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. I don't want to take it away from you.
Nancy Sinatra. Just because I'll have said that I danced with Nancy Sinatra, even if it's to the pain.
Even if it's to the pain. Nice.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, Fizz says, I never heard that story until now. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. I'm too far behind in the chat.
Yeah, we've been talking too much.
Let's see here. Oh, here we go. We got a back onto the isekai idea.
Oh, no.
Then she starts, because she's in love. The vending machine is in love with a man. Then she starts depositing really useful and magical items to help him because he talks to the broken vending machine about his life's woes.
Wait, she has control what's inside of her, though she's a broken vending machine.
Maybe that's
Maybe that's
part
why
of
I
the-
she's
guess that's
broken.
the magic power thing, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
this
yeah.
really is starting to sound very anime now.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Okay, now we're on to. We'll come back. Maybe we'll come back to the.
Oh, I got
the guy here. We'll go. Seven's got a question here. If you could instantly acquire any talent or skill in the world just by eating a specific type of food, what food would you choose, and what extraordinary ability would it grant you?
This is just the plot of One Piece.
Yeah. So,
You jerk.
if there's a particular skill that I don't have that I would want to instantly have, I would like to be able to read and speak Welsh and write and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so,
Who would you talk to?
I would anyone. I would even have to. Just like the real world. I don't have to be understood to keep talking.
No, this is true. This is touche.
So, and I suppose my magical food would have to be, like, well, what do they call them? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot this.
Gum fruit.
I was
There
gonna
is
say, I
a
immediately
there's a Welsh sausage that is made out of cheese that it's actually very delicious. But I can't remember what it's called right now.
Reese's Pieces.
No, oh god damn, I gotta look it up.
What's this? What extraordinary ability? What about you, Metal?
How about every single time I drink a cup of tea, right?
Dude.
I can see, regardless of what's in my way, something that's exactly 55 feet in front of me.
So only and exactly 55 are all
Exactly
the things?
55, like right there. We'll say a 5-foot radius from the spot, so it's between 50 and or between
Or a range of
53
55 to
and 50
45?
or whatever. Yeah, right around there. It's exactly there. If there's a wall in the way, it doesn't matter. I'm seeing past the wall. I'm just seeing what's in that spot. Every time I drink a glass of tea.
You're a heck of a driver.
Are you talking though, like when you
Or
say
golfer.
exactly? I mean, are we talking down to the infinite millimeter?
I know everything that's right there in that spot.
In an area, not actually an exact specific micro tick.
Well, now I feel like my idea was boring. I gotta rethink my shit now.
All right, here's how it goes, guys. When I eat any food at all, I have the ability to metabolize it perfectly and never gain any weight.
I don't think that goes with the question, though, because it does say a specific type of food.
Fine, sugar. It's in everything.
Wait, real sugar or sucrose, corn syrup? What are we talking about?
Yeah, any kind of sugar.
All sugar. All sugar.
All. Damn. All right.
So there you go. Let's move on to that one. Oh yeah, the other thing, they're called Glamorgan sausages, and I'm embarrassed that I forgot.
Yeah, you should be.
Damn it. Neo asks a great question. Could Gorilla City survive a Triceraton invasion? And just to remind myself, Triceratons are the alien dinosaur people from TMNT. Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm kind of ashamed that I understand this question.
I don't know that much about Gorilla City, honestly.
I don't think I can answer this.
From what I remember of Gorilla City, well, a number of the gorillas from Gorilla City are psychic. All of them are advanced. They're a high
they're all
society.
high. I know that.
I believe.
But what's their defensive capability?
Because they have ray guns and computers and all kinds of stuff. Plus, some of them are psychics.
And many of them are definitely stronger than actual gorillas are.
Oh yes, by far. Well, some of them are much larger too.
That's pretty damn strong.
Some of them are giant gorillas.
Some superhumanly strong.
Because Gorilla Grodd is like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, like your average silverback's only like 5'6".
Yeah.
So they're not tall.
Like, they're ripping the cars off of doors strong. I mean, they're massive. So I believe, given their advanced technology and their psychic powers, I believe Gorilla City could fend off a Triceraton invasion. Their technologies, I believe, if my memory serves, and I'm not the biggest TMNT expert, but I believe, based on what I recall, that, and man, Mark Pellegrini would probably be the guy to answer this question, but he's not here.
Did the turtles ever fend off or fight the Triceratons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so. I was going to say, I think I remember, weren't the Triceratons kind of dumb? Like, I remember even Michelangelo outsmarting them.
Yeah, if like 4 turtles could fend them off, I'm pretty sure an entire advanced
I'm thinking the city of super primates.
Mm-hmm. So then Jim Tuner takes this question up a notch and says, who would win in a fight between Gorilla City and Wakanda?
This is awesome.
Oh, no.
And I'm coming down on Gorilla City.
I am too.
Yeah, I think just because the average.
The Wakanda technology, right? Like I said, I believe, like, if you look at the Triceraton technology, my memory once again, and the Gorilla City technology is just a little bit above, right? And it's the same ratio for Gorilla City and Wakanda technology. They're just a little bit. Even if you're just like, oh no, maybe they're pretty even, and vibranium's its own source.
Well, Hiroshi
Here's the
paradox
side of
actually
it.
brings up a really good point that we have to consider. Triceratons can't breathe Earth's air. So if the gorillas can break their breathing apparatuses, they probably just win.
Yeah. Good call. That's something I did not know
think,
about. So excellent.
Yeah, Gorilla City is looking pretty strong in both
Well,
these
yeah,
cases
and like
here.
Gorilla City, it's a peaceful society, but like they also have numerous times just gone, forgive the expression, absolute ape shit.
Ah,
I knew where you were going with it.
Yeah.
Well, like
And,
I mean,
and
I'm
so
just thinking
it's like one of these things. Like because many of them have developed psychic powers, then they use their psychic connections with each other to regulate moods and be able to build a society.
Yeah.
But that's what makes Gorilla Grodd so dangerous. Is he's much more powerful a psychic, so he has numerous times unleashed like the animal instincts of these guys and gone into these massive fights. So every Gorilla City resident, they're a pacifist who's also a trained warrior, and they have this martial discipline also as part of the society. So I think that like Wakanda has spent, especially in movie Wakanda, has spent centuries hiding from the world outside. They let the slave trade happen. They let the Muslim invasions and the ravaging of the thing. And they don't care. They got their little city and they don't do anything. So they're out of practice of what real visceral, brutal warfare, like statewide warfare, would happen. And so I think that Gorilla City would just tear them apart.
Well, it sounds like everything's even, right? Like it's just even, and then you have like super smart, giant, insanely strong gorillas on the average.
Versus
wanna
people that are
know-
mostly just people, right?
Just
Like
mostly
the
people,
only
yeah.
really
On the
powerful, there are very few powerful people in Wakanda.
Right. There's the few of the like you said, like the guards and all that stuff. They're
But even most of the guards
special.
are still just people, right? Like
there's
Black
they're
Panther,
extremely-
obviously.
Yeah.
We
Whoever the
we
Black
can
Panther
throw what's his White Wolf in there too if you want. That's fine.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I'm just
God,
gorillas, man.
the gorilla themed guy who runs.
well,
one
that's what I
of
was
the
gonna say.
tribes.
What side would Manape
Yeah.
take?
Yeah, like Manape. There's a few people that might help, but that's very few. Everybody else is just like a normal human.
Yeah,
foot
you got a
soldiers.
city of super
Yeah.
strong, smart gorillas.
I mean, Gorilla City, like there was a storyline where I can't remember the name of it right now, but where Gorilla Grodd got a boost to his psychic powers, and so he strolls back into town and just but he just like enslaves the entire like civilization, like huge uprising. They all vote him into power, right? The whole thing, and so they just like start taking over nations.
Almost the gorillas.
They just tear it. They're just tearing up like Johannesburg is like in pieces, and I mean they just start. It's today Africa, tomorrow the world, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of also with cartoonists here. I think Manape might just switch sides and be like, no, I'm with you guys. I'm with the gorillas.
The name clearly, I'm with you, dude.
Backing on the Thanos conversation a little bit, Thanos' time would evaporate in 40 years. It would take even less time.
Yeah,
that's the thing is, Jim Tudor says, okay, so Thanos, we need to kill more people. Got it.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Honey,
at that point,
time to go do
part of my argument with that is it negates any moral consideration. If it's like, if half of reality had to die, will it survive the other half? No.
You would just have to accept that he's
It's not
wrong
enough.
in that
No,
case.
you're looking at the wrong side of the paradigm. It's about
the real problem is
increasing
that
efficiency of resources.
often you would change up a system so much you might actually cause an entire planet to go extinct.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, the point of adapting.
If the entire U.S. went fully Amish, would be statistically no difference on the impact. Also true.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Okay. Speaking as a hardcore pessimist, if you had a magic Dragon Ball glove that can do anything, why not wish for infinite resources? So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because
So
I'm the bad
having a-
guy.
Because we need to hate him.
Yeah.
He's trying to impress Mistress Death. Okay. Comic version is right because he got a helicopter pilot's license. And that seemed like a sensible career choice.
That's amazing.
That was wonderful. Okay. The chick was also into Thanos since he was a kid. She also wanted Thanos to stop Marvel Comics characters from coming back, which he did. Wow.
It's true. Isn't she like way too old for him?
Yeah. Well, also Thanos means death, so then we're looking at that.
Yeah. He's named after Thanatos, which is the god of death. But she's also more into Deadpool anyway, so that kind of Thanos.
And Lady Death was a ripoff of Mistress Death, but for Evil Ernie. Yeah. I believe it. I ever tell you guys I met Brian Pulido once? He's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of us never read Sandman. Oh. Was I talking about Sandman?
You
yeah,
mentioned
Death from the
other
Endless.
Death.
I am planning next year to do a reread through all of Sandman. I had been buying the volume several years back, and I got to volume 8. And I realized that I had bought them as I had money throughout the years, and it was in spurts. So there's stuff in volume 8 that I didn't remember anymore that are huge context clues. So I'm intending to sit down and read the entire thing in one go. And by one go, I mean over the course of several weeks, not like in a weekend or something.
Binge.
But the thing is Sandman is great, but I'm not sure right now with my memory and my feelings toward it, and having recently reread the first issue just for kicks a few weeks ago, I am not sure Sandman is must reading comics.
Yeah, dude. I like Sandman. I don't even think it's like Gaiman's best work, like by far.
Yeah, I mean, it's so broad, and it does so much that some of it's just okay. Some of it's really good, and he's got an amazing way with words. So it's all pleasure. Everything I've
stuff. I love Stardust. Stardust is great.
Stardust is really good. But in some ways, like Sandman is kind of an inverse to the trajectory of James Robinson's Starman, which is something I want to do some more thinking about in the future. But that's a whole different thing. It may or may not be worth really reading, but there you go. And maybe you never had the crush on that one goth girl. I don't know. Maybe it's not personal to you.
Yeah, my thing.
Yeah. Marvel Death was a dude at one time. He was also Rick Jones' wife one time, who was hot.
Who's hot? I was laughing at that.
Death has many faces. Most of them look like skulls, but still many faces.
So Skeletor.
Or Rick Jones, man. Okay. There's also Hela and Thor, who's another Marvel Death girl.
Yeah, that's what
Too bad Marvel wasted their Hela. Oh, we're talking about Kali in the Temple of Doom. Nice. Okay.
Kalima.
Kali.
Marvel cosmology, Death was
Jones,
formed in the space around Galactus in the time between the formations of the universes. So she's really old compared to Thanos.
Hey. Love.
What if the Feminine Association of Death goes all the way back to Eve, who's also the mother of all humanity? I think there's definitely something to that. Hiroshi says, and this I'm gonna try to skip past some of these, but I really want to go ahead and get back to questions. My favorite mythological death character is Death from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. He is also. Have you guys seen Bill and Ted Face the Music?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I've seen all the Bill and Ted so far.
Yeah.
Even that cheesy cartoon show.
Yeah.
I love Face the Music.
Cheesy. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was both. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
I really liked Face the Music. I think
I didn't like it as much.
I did too.
I still thought it was good. I just thought it wasn't as good as like the two that came before it.
Yeah.
I think it was a perfectly reasonable capstone to the stories, especially when you
That's
look at
unreasonable.
especially when you realize that they're of the time that was between them, right? And what it means to put a life in the middle of these two. You look between Bogus Journey and Face the Music and realize there's a lifetime in there. And I think that when you read it, that lifetime into the story, I think is the perfect capstone to it all.
That's interesting because I watched the trailers and I felt like their acting seemed like it was too on point for trying to recreate the same characters. And I was thinking, if this is another 40 years have passed, your character should reflect those 40 years.
Well, in some instances it does, and it deals because it's a time travel. You actually see these guys.
They did a good job with that.
There was a lot of pressure on them that they kind of caved to.
Yeah, because I had the same.
And I think in a lot of ways, and the way they tie it together kind of makes it sense because like they misunderstood, and those second generations that came later misunderstood what was really happening. Because I don't want to spoil it here.
Yeah, spoilers.
But I'm just talking about their acting style. I felt like they seemed like they were still the same teenagers, and I was like, shouldn't they actually be more like show that
that's actually a plot
has
point.
Changed them.
That's actually a plot.
Yeah, that's actually plot.
So that's why I don't want to talk about that too much because you haven't seen it. Because I think it is worth watching, especially if you're like me and you felt like the 12-year-old big word using dude who didn't fit in with anybody at their school somehow resonated with you for some reason, then maybe.
Yeah, I felt the same way, Cartoonicus, but it works out in the movie. I think there were some other issues I did have, but overall, it's a solid take.
Especially when they go to re-recruit Death, it's a great part.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Larry asks, "Have I read the Theogony?" Nope.
Okay, hit that damn horse.
Rick Jones versus Snapper Carr. Who wins?
I'm just going with Rick Jones. That guy's had enough of this shit.
Yeah, I think Rick Jones probably would win just because he has the more likelihood to be fed up.
Yeah. He's like being Hulk's
that
trash puppet.
That dude's life has been screwed around.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I am hot here, so I have fans going. Is that affecting the microphone at all?
No.
No.
Awesome.
I don't think so.
I meant to ask much earlier, and I didn't.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I know I was going to quit the comments, but this is hilarious. That time, Rick from the other universe tried to destroy our universe to win Death away from Thanos, and Death was also cheating on Thanos with Deadpool.
That little minx.
That's ridiculous. And also, side note, ancient mythological deities were stuck being assistant managers. That explains why so many Greek gods were miserable a-holes. Yeah, it could be. That's also very much the henotheistic idea I was talking about. Also very much what's described in Lord of the Rings.
Especially if you get to so Hinduism wasn't that way before. But when you get to like the Buddhist retake of Hinduism, it's very much a like layer of middle managers and stuff like that.
Well, what's interesting is, of course, the Marvel universe works out that way too.
I was gonna say it's looking at the comics and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Back with the questions: would anybody wear a costume? I dress like Carr from Aqua Teen Hunger Force every day. It's less intentional costume than intrinsic white trashness stuff. Represent, man.
Yeah.
I would totally wear a cape for the dramatic drapery. I love that.
I think I have a cape somewhere.
Isn't that from what's that?
No capes.
Energon. Transformers run on Energon. Everyone is pointing out I said it wrong. Fine. You are correct.
Yeah, it is.
I said it wrong.
I think it's still a basic electricity.
Thought Energon was the Allspark.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think it's
The
sort of.
Allspark is typically like
a deity.
Yeah, it's like represents their leadership and
I
shit.
feel like at some point they still need to
also-
change their oil.
You know,
Well, I mean,
Ratchet
they
needs
clearly
something to
work
do.
on like, nanoparticles. That they run on the power of friendship.
That's real.
You went from stage 0 to stage 10 of Doctor Who fandom. Okay.
No, he stopped himself before he could.
Yeah. I intentionally did that.
Except now there are 14 stages.
Okay, so here we go. The also pointing out, Seven says that he would enter rooms to the Ultimate Warrior
Nice.
wrestling theme. I respect that, even though I don't like professional wrestling. Was Spider-Man more large to trade his wife and unborn child to Mephisto for his mom?
Oh, we already
We
did.
did a whole
that.
show on this.
Yeah, you
Wow.
can go back and
Gonna
watch
say,
it.
Jim,
I was
I
gonna
think you
say,
actually were here
this
for
is
that
really a
conversation, so I feel like you're pulling my leg a little bit
I
here.
do not want to
But-
go over this again.
No.
Well, it's been a good night, guys. I'll see you around midnight.
Even worse, he was morally wrong to push that decision off onto his wife.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everything. God, it's
I'm so glad I don't read
gross.
Marvel anymore.
Everything about that is so gross. I can't believe that Twitless made me read that goddamn comic book.
No, once again, credit where credit is due over here.
Yeah. Was it your idea to start with? 'Cause
That was.
I remember he loved the idea.
Oh,
The
okay.
villain is revealed.
Remember, I was specifically trying to come up with the most inappropriate book for
Valentine's Day
Valentine's
show.
Day.
Yeah.
Right.
That's amazing.
It was terrible, and I hated it.
Yeah.
But he was really. I think he really.
I
liked
still
it.
hate it, even though it's in the past.
Yeah. So,
Thunderdome. Heck yeah.
Thunderdome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a
Okay.
one. Both of those. I mean, well, we don't need it in our Hero 1 song. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Jim Tudor's theme song would be the theme to PJ Masks.
See, I was thinking my
Words.
fallback would probably be the opening theme to Simon and Simon, which probably is the best
Oh.
TV theme ever.
It's a good one. But
Classic.
my favorite TV theme is Rockford Files. Sometimes I just listen to that song. I'm not even kidding.
Nice.
That's one of my favorite shows of all time. And the fun thing about Rockford Files is it's a funky 70s redneck Raymond Chandler story. It has all the elements of a Raymond Chandler story.
That's a cool car.
But I can't believe I'm spacing on the detective's name. Marlowe was a 70s redneck living in a trailer. That would be that story. So
If we're gonna do repicks, I'm gonna do a man named Jane.
that's an amazing song. Seven says Twitless's entrance song should be "Rock You Like a Hurricane." I don't know what he would think about that.
It's a great song, period.
Next question. Have I ever read a Game Boy Jones? No, I have not. And he also says, Disco Ninjas, tell me more. Well, in our universe, in Forces of Good and Evil, if you go back to forcesofgoodandevil.net, you can check out the story. It's called Disco Fever. And in Disco Fever, it is revealed that in the history of our universe, there was a moment in time where there was a religion called Scientologism that spread throughout America, and it was part of a mind control device that used disco music to bend the minds of people into blindly following their religious system. And one of the main proponents was a supervillain called the Disco King, who mysteriously vanished sometime in the mid-70s. And there was a great battle that would happen in urban centers between the discoites and various rockers who would go out and they'd have these street fights, sharks and jets kind of stuff. And that's canon. Well,
Well, that last part's also the only part that's fiction.
the acolytes. One of the acolytes of the Disco King was a fellow named Tranger, and he stayed involved in organized crime from the 70s on, kept a low profile, and he enlists a series of disco ninjas who occasionally that he calls up as assassins and enforcers for his criminal enterprises. And they figure prominently into two storylines and forces that are up over there on the website. One is Disco Fever, and the second is National Villainy. So go check them out, and you can see all kinds of Disco Ninja action.
Disco.
So,
If you can see the ninjas, though, they're not good ninjas.
could be.
That
could
depends.
Unless you don't know that they're ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could just be disco guys
In
walking down the
plain
street, and then
sight.
all of a sudden, ha! And you're
They're
dead.
basically spies. You want them to
get
be
it.
Basically,
like
just
normal
out there
people.
dancing, they're just getting down.
You get a hair pick through the
That's
eyeball. Who knows?
It's kind of like a rogue, right? Like you wouldn't want to actually dress like a weird movie thief because you'd stick out like a sore thumb. You'd rather just dress like a regular person walking around the street.
Right. Next thing you
All I
know,
know-
your tea's not so tasty.
All I know is in the background of your screen, there are 17 ninjas.
It's possible. Okay. Yes.
Michael Knight and Kit compete
Okay.
in a space racer. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Anyone
I
know?
saw that. I'm like, heck yeah.
Oh yeah, Rocky Racers. Yeah.
Yeah, speed.
That would be a fun little comic to see. Okay. I'm trying to move.
Michael Knight and Kit. Oh my.
Cannonball. We have one vote for Cannonball Run with Muppets.
It's a movie I think needs to happen.
It is. It is.
Buckskin
Well, weren't-
Boone versus Captain Caveman.
There's a whole
That-
bunch of
you're right.
movies that need to be done with Muppets.
If
Yeah,
this says I
there
don't
are.
even know who Buckskin Boone is, there you have.
Well, you know, he's
Here we go. So
don't
if you're still
show
there,
him that-
Fizz,
don't show him
might
that
not be-
atrocity.
there we
I
go.
don't know who that is anymore.
Okay. Seven says he moonwalked to the moon.
I love that.
Yep, that's great.
Heck yeah.
If I swapped lives and lived in someone else's shoes, I'd probably get athlete's foot.
Well,
Donners, if I could turn back time. Okay.
and sure.
Edming says, I'm here, but I'm driving. Imagine my jokes. That's awesome. Will we ever get the Nick? Here's a real question. Back to your questions.
Oh,
Will we ever get that Nick Cage Superman movie that Hollywood promised us? No.
well, it was never completed. Like, have you ever check out John Schnepp Rip? But rest in peace. But yeah, he did a What Happened. He did a whole documentary on that, so it's pretty good actually.
I remember seeing the video about the story of the original script and
Yeah.
how that came about. That was the giant spider and all.
Yeah, there was a lot out there. I can't believe we didn't see it come to fruition. But yeah, the
Well,
death of
it might
Superman.
be for the best. Because
Ah.
I mean,
it's going to be
That's
directed or like partially involved with Kevin Smith, and I mean, it was back when he was still kind of cool. It was pre
Yeah,
heart
well, he's
attack,
back
but
before. Yeah, he had completely destroyed his little soft
Yeah,
tissue brain.
Kevin Smith. I don't want to talk about Kevin Smith.
I feel like Kevin Smith's story about that is more entertaining than the movie would be.
Well,
yeah,
Kevin Smith is really good when he's bullshitting. Maybe that's the only time.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, you guys are just hating on. Look, what just it just depends on
just
who's
a
writing
fact.
Wolverine. You
It
guys,
does
bunch of
depend
haters.
on who's writing
It
Wolverine.
does.
well, it was Stan Lee's thing every time. It depends on the writer. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who it is.
But also,
Oh yeah, like Squirrel Girl, man. She took down what
Yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Galactus.
Yeah,
but again,
or
if,
fairly often. Yeah.
Okay, we've got some good comments. I'm just trying to get to the point where if we have any
Right.
more
Doc
questions.
Savage versus Dracula. That's a classic waiting to happen.
The only problem is Dracula was already dead by then.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't stop Batman.
The novel. I mean, I really like the Batman Dracula, like animated series show that the TV they did. That's fun, but man, the canon ending's the canon ending. It's so good.
Yeah. Plus, like, we need more actual depictions of Dracula. Everybody always shaves off his mustache, and he had like an amazing mustache in depiction.
Well,
of the
yeah,
book.
he's
Well,
German.
Vlad, yeah.
Not Romanian. Okay,
Oh,
Harvey Bullock versus Dan Turpin. That would actually be a really fun thing in there. Okay, you got a question. If you could rewrite any comic book character, who would it be and
Oh wow.
and
Well,
why?
this happens all the time.
Well, yeah. But I honestly
oh dear.
would love a crack at Plastic Man. I'm not even kidding.
Huh?
I would love a crack at Plastic Man. I'm not sure that I think I would want to bring on a co-writer who's a little better. I'm okay with jokes, but I'm not sure I would want somebody else to kind of bounce stuff off to get more of the way the humor plays out. But I would love a crack at Plastic Man.
How about you guys?
See,
Does me rewriting the character control continuity? Because if so, I might rewrite like an older version of Barry Allen to where Flashpoint never happened,
Oh,
and just erase everything that happened after that point.
dang.
Yeah,
Making a lot of fans happy right there, honestly.
or in the point where Barry Allen never comes back from the dead.
Yeah, that too. You
Yeah.
could just stay with Wally.
I was why does that not so? How about you, Cartoonicus?
see, I have an entire list of not just characters, but the IPs as a whole. That if I had been in charge of it, here's how it should have been created. Such things include Star Wars, X-Men,
Hey,
Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Batman. I can keep going.
this fucker's attacking the 80s.
A lot of them, come straight out
Now
of the
I'm
80s.
just teasing. That's good. Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing. I would like to take off of, or like just do some changes, do some heavy changes to X-Men when make some. They never really focus on the classroom enough and all that stuff. So a lot of fun changes.
I would also, specifically because Carol Danvers used to be my favorite back when she was still like Miss Marvel before they completely ruined the character.
Yeah.
If I had control of her, like I would just rewind everything to that point and just
Dang.
like actually make her fun Carol again.
Yeah.
That was like that was a pretty short period, wasn't it?
I also would love to play in. I would have loved. I mean, before the New 52, like my single favorite mythos, was Aquaman. I mean, I love Batman and all that kind of stuff.
Wait, he existed before the 52?
But with Aquaman, there was a lot of untapped potential that I thought that would have been really fun to play with that world, because there was a super complex world that had not been explored with the undersea civilizations and stuff. And I would have loved to have done a little more fantasy style world building in that. But when John started writing it in the New 52, he stripped all of the lore and 50 years of Aquaman history just vaporized, and the cities of the underwater cities and the conflict between Poseidonis and Tritonus and how it interacted with Superman, and none of that happened anymore. And it just is.
Wow.
There's one city. It's called Atlantis. It's really boring. And then he invented other cities that were part of the pre-deluge world of Atlantis, but none of them had. There was like no social development in the time since then, and it was just like it didn't have the same richness or the same length. Because the thing is before in the Marvel universe, the city was Atlantis. In the DC universe, the continent was Atlantis, and the cities of Tritonus and Poseidonis were separate cities within this sunken continent. And the capital city of the sunken continent was the city of the Golden Gate, and that was part of the fantasy book, the Arion Lord of Atlantis, which was set before the deluge. So it was one of those things where it's like you had 10,000 years of history to play with, and it was amazing. And then to make things like accessible, they just ignored all of that. And I always felt like that it was just cheapened. I don't know, it's never really felt right since then. I mean, there have been, it's bugged
you're right.
me. It's bugged me. Hiroshi commented, I always liked the G.I. Joe and Cobra Commander. Marvels at Sergeant Slaughter's strength by saying he has a constitution of a vending machine.
Those vending machines, man, I tell you.
They're coming up tonight. Seven says Punk Rock Jesus by Sean Gordon movie is about a Turin Shroud DNA clone of Jesus, sponsored and marketed as a corporate Truman Show reality star, second coming gone rogue who forms a subversive punk band.
Why does this sound like a 1970s musical?
I don't know. It was a 1990s or early 2000s comic book. So. Getting back to this thing Neo was talking about much earlier, my issue with Scott Pilgrim is that for several years following its release, so many people kept trying to replicate the comic without understanding what made the series work, not unlike how people kept trying to imitate Watchmen in the deconstruction of superheroes. See, I was wondering if you're going for something.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
Ed Ming would like to dance off with Sigmund Freud. Back to
that. That's a good pick.
I think Sigmund Freud would like that too.
This is the right answer. Dance Battle to the Death, Che Guevara. That's the right answer.
That's funny. Why not?
Hirsch says, isn't there an actual isekai about a guy coming back as a vending machine? I have no idea. The question, if you would have a pet that could talk, what kind of animal would you choose, and what kind of hilarious conversations do you imagine having with them? Man, I wouldn't want to
be careful with this one.
I wouldn't want to talk to an animal. I just
Matt hates.
No, dude, it's like, okay, like dogs already communicate with you, right?
Yeah.
But they got nothing to say. They're just stupid.
Like, it's easy to imagine, like, what if the person wasn't originally animal? What if it's like a Salem the Cat situation where it was like some wizard warlock guy who got punished into animal form?
So they have a apt conscious, more or less, or they're close to human. I mean, dolphins would be pretty great.
I mean,
be more fish.
Hey! Oh my god.
You're seeing an anthropomorphic animal on my screen right now.
Yeah.
I think I would pick a raven because they can already mimic human speech. So, like, if I was trying to keep this on the down low and somebody saw me talking to a raven, they might not even, like, really be concerned.
Back to Gorilla City. It's a city of typewriting primates. Yes, that's true.
Typewriting primates.
If you were to create a wacky invention, what would it be, and what would the hilarious problem would it solve?
Rocket-powered pogo stick.
What problem does that solve?
So you can get that soup off the top shelf.
Clearly that off the top shelf of that, satellite on Mars. I would just, I'd circumvent Elon's, stake on Mars, and it's mine.
An AI-controlled
So, careful.
zipper, an AI-controlled zipper for the mouth, in order to stop you when the waiter tells you to enjoy your meal from saying thanks, you too.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Awesome.
That's great. I take it back. I want that too. There's so many times in life that you do that thing that try to be courteous right back, and it just doesn't apply. It's completely wrong context, and you just like, okay.
I I would want to invent those holes from like Looney Tunes that you could just put on the wall and walk through.
Jump through the hole. Escape the
Oh
hole.
man,
Well, so that I can,
That's
so
great.
that I can hand Barry a cider easily.
Yeah.
yeah,
Where's my cider? Dang it.
yeah.
Well, imagine that like this. You
Hole in
know,
a jar.
imagine that with that work I throw it up on my big old TV here, and hey, you guys want some French fries?
Okay,
Yeah.
7 asks, a Gorilla City versus Chicago. Well, I believe Chicago has more people.
Wait, the band or?
Oh my god!
That
It's the horrible
in
images
the
I
park.
just got. Well, wait.
I
Does
think
that
it was
music
the
in
4th of
fact
July.
destroy the apes?
People laughing, apes attacking.
Apes are
A
dying.
we
man
just have to start a
selling
band called
ice
Gorilla City.
cream
Wow, that was great.
and singing gorilla songs. So there you guys got. You guys are watching Musical Number. That doesn't happen every day. So yeah, I lots of Chicago is armed, but I think they'd be too busy shooting other Chicagoans to kill the apes that were attacking. So political commentary.
I was
What would you do if you found yourself with the choice of developing Twitless's taste in comics or becoming the Condiment Man?
What? What is
I
developed?
don't necessarily agree that his taste in comics is bad. He
I
just
don't
is-
either.
He's more gracious than maybe he ought to be with some things. I mean, there's some things that are just crap that he's just like, yeah, but what about its good sides? I'm like, it's a turd, man.
No, remember though, I've always
Fair enough.
said he loves playing devil's advocate.
He does.
I don't think a lot of that is actually symbolic of his
Listen,
real taste.
I would rather have Twitless taste in comics than Cartoonicus's taste in like pizza.
I knew that was coming.
Shots fired.
Now I have to ask. 'Cause I
Also,
don't know.
that being said, being the Condiment Man would also not be the worst thing ever.
Also, it's called the Condiment King.
There you
Just
go.
saying.
There you that touche.
Just saying. Just saying.
Is this like a Hawaiian pizza thing? It's
No, American cheese.
Yeah. 7 is correct. Those are some of the. Those are awesome, right? The ideas right there. Do.
Excellent. I have to look that up.
Another
Remember,
question.
I can't break away.
If you had to choose between being followed around by a marching band wherever you go or having a personal narrator who narrates your action out loud, which one do you choose and why?
Oh, man.
I already have a personal narrator because that's the kind of epic I am. So it weirds people out at first when they get to know me, but you know.
Yeah.
He indeed did.
I might be that narrator, but I might not.
I talk to myself enough that I basically am my own narrator.
So we all just going with marching band?
Narrator's the easy choice because we don't.
Well, it depends. Is the narrator with you, or is it some like transcendental being who's
Right,
with you here?
a voice.
Because like the narrator, even if it's a person that like narrates all of my actions out loud, which would be kind of weird when I'm on the toilet, but I could still fit that person in most places that I go. The marching band, on the other hand, like getting onto the elevator and things like that, it's going to become very difficult really fast.
Yeah. No.
But now wait,
Lars.
what if the marching band is really good at playing theme music for every scenario?
It's fine.
That's
There's
pretty
still
valuable.
a physical marching band, unless they're also transcendental. Like we need to figure out what the rules are here first before I make my decision.
I like them not being transcendental.
Yeah.
Just me and the damn band and watch out.
like I'm in Walmart and like I'm trying to go through line and nobody else can get in line because there's a whole marching band behind me.
Heck yeah. Us in our van, it's like a triple
The
decker.
metal, the most hated man in Texas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that might already be the case, but for other reasons now.
He's more infamous. He's infamous.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: if you had a personal narrator, who would it be?
Mm. Can it be somebody who's no longer alive? Can I just like?
Can it be
steal
James Earl
their-
Jones?
As long as we
That's
know
Darth
what their
Vader
voice
lines?
sounds like.
Oh, I would pick Sean Connery.
Okay.
Yes, Metal. Today we are going to shoot people.
You send one of theirs to the. They send one of yours to the hospital. You send two of theirs to the morgue.
Send,
We
send one of
we
yours
just
to
watched
the hospital.
we
You
just watched
throw
that
them to the
last
morgue.
week. First time I showed it to my kids. They're
exactly 133 pieces of cereal into that bowl.
Oh man, so many
yeah.
good Connery lines, man. So many.
I'm gonna go with Patrick Warburton.
Oh, very nice.
Good one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're telling me that you're just gonna go in this door. I mean, you don't know what's on the other side, but you're just gonna go in.
He goes inside that door.
He goes inside the door, unaware of what's on the other side.
The door does close.
Couple of comments, quick. That I want to point out. I'm gonna put Rick Jones and Jimmy Olsen in death battle. That'd be fun. Seven says Jimmy Olsen versus Rick Jones, a super freak dance off. And Neo says, hard to believe you're not into pro wrestling. You would totally pass for an old school wrestling manager. Does that mean I look like a crook?
Oh, wrestling man.
I don't know. Okay. And Seven also points out the Sanford and Son is the best TV theme ever. It's very possible. It's very possible.
Man,
I'm still sticking with
Recognizable.
Simon and Simon.
I did like Magnum PI. It was good.
Yeah.
Good hit.
So, talking about that earlier today. So remembering that scene, it's like, wait, nuns don't work on Sunday.
Okay, Plastic Man. What would I do with Plastic Man? Okay. I would like to take I'd like to give Plastic Man a funny Starman treatment, right? So when James Robinson took Starman, he took virtually every incarnation of the character and wove it into one big transgenerational story across the 20th century. And so it was as somebody who is a big history buff, comic buff, been through complicated relationships with my dad. I was a young father at the time I was reading it. It just hit me in this place where I was feeling it, really feeling it. And I would love to do a Plastic Man is another one of those characters going all the way back to Jack Cole and the Quality Days, being licensed out, being bought by DC, having this other stuff where there's all of these different story elements that people have used throughout time, where people ignore different parts of continuity to make it play in different ways. I think I would be really great to take a look at that span of time through the eyes of somebody who can't age, right? And his other friend, his best friend Woozy Winks, also can't age. So you've got these two like dorks who the with various levels of stumble bummery and skillful detective work traipse through the 20th century and into the 21st century, through presidents, through histories, through events in the DC universe. And I would love to just see using them as solo agents, as private detectives, as government agents, as the whole thing, and integrate all these different stories into a single timeline that would allow just the most ridiculous. It would be like a farce or a parody version of the Captain America story, where Captain America is the man out of time. Well, Plastic Man is and Woozy Winks would be the men out of time, but a joke. and the great thing about Plastic Man is that he's always serious, and everyone around him is the joke. And that's kind of thing. So that would be a really fun way to just take a look at society and poke fun at it while also appreciating it. So that's what I
That'd be
like
interesting.
would do with Plastic Man.
Okay, now that I know that you too will completely rearrange IPs entirely, we need to
yeah.
have a stream entirely about this.
So
That'd be fun.
the plastic century, right? So anyway,
Check out Neo's talking dog narrator.
I'll have to get down to that.
That's
Kevin
amazing.
said like GI Joe. Reese should do a comic called Antediluvian. That would be fun. This cracked me up right there. The Raven talking about the talking birds. Let's say
Nevermore, yeah, man.
Medication that negates the need to poop.
Wasn't this one of you guys' topics one time or something, or it came up? I don't know. Maybe that's a different podcast
Okay, here
I
we
was
go.
watching.
Here we go. As a Hanna-Barbera fan, I'd love to be a talking dog companion. A talking owl would be pretty cool too. Talking robot owl.
Ooh, yeah. Clash of Titans.
Talking dogs sound like Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, there we go. Bond. Speaking of poop, it does clean the body of impurities, whereas one more day is just trash.
Oh.
Hell,
Less useful than poop.
Twilight Zone narrator.
He's
Heck
his
yeah.
own narrator. It's Rod Serling. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Buxton
Yeah,
Boone versus
yeah.
the space startup. What?
Dang, that's gonna be one
Okay,
tough space.
We are officially to the end of the thing. We've been going for 2.5 hours. I didn't know if we'd have very many questions, so I had other activities that I thought we could do. We can do any, and that's okay. That's fine.
Well, to be fair, about 80% of them did come from 7.
Yeah, thanks.
Lots
There
of
were a lot
questions.
of questions.
And I think Jim was there to mock us, gently mock us. So I appreciate that.
Gently is always nice.
I think that's it for today. I'm not sure. Next week we are going to be doing a monthly feature where we are going to be discussing several months ago's release of the new Superman series. And I can't remember what the this is
Wilkes Boom.
John Wilkes Boom. I love that. That's amazing.
That'd be a messy boom.
Oh my god, I may have to steal that. Oh my god. Okay. I got ideas coming out of my head now. Damn it. Okay, anyway, but yeah, so I think we may be doing the first episode of that next week. We're doing it with a several month lag so that if they decide they want to pick up and read along, then they can go look for back issues. I think that might be next week, but it might not be. But we also are going to be talking about comic distribution and the newsstand and how that impacted comics as a growing market, that kind of thing. And eventually we're going to be doing a retrospective of romance comics, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen. So those are some things that are happening in the future.
Nice.
So tune in next week. Follow us on various people. So what do you have anything we want to shill or just want to call it now? I mean, of course,
good show. Have me on.
Metal
It was really
shills
fun.
always with his rotating
Little
banner.
tickers.
In case you ever wondered where you can find his stuff, and
Oh, yeah, another
Arturis
place too.
has got the link up there too.
There you go. Here's another place.
Barry, you are
the
doing.
Vomitorium has
yeah.
a news site now that people can contribute to.
Oh, yeah?
Select people. They have to be invited. But I wrote a few reviews. One for the Mario movie. I also wrote one for a game I've been playing. I actually have a comics correspondent that
Which
is
game?
going to be Honkai Star Rail.
Is it an indie?
It's no, it's not indie, but it's mobile, but
Oh,
also
okay.
PC. It's fun.
Gotcha.
You could play it completely free to play without ever spending money on it.
Those
But
are
it's a
always
really fun
nice.
game. But I actually have a guy who's going to be reading comics that I don't feel like reading for me. and then writing his reviews on there. So that'll be interesting. I can't promise the quality of the reviews, but they will definitely be entertaining to read.
Fair.
Who's doing that?
It's a buddy of mine.
Okay.
No.
Thought maybe he had a name, but I guess that's fine.
Guy's been kidnapped. He's like,
he
yeah.
has a name. I just
Stop
don't know if he
asking
wants
questions,
his
Matt.
actual name out there. I think he decided he's going to be posting under the handle Rat Trash. He
I
lives
respect this.
between Taiwan and the Philippines, so that's
Oh,
you
man.
know, it's going to be an interesting perspective. on
I was
some
gonna
of this
say
stuff.
now I want to read these reviews. I'm sorry, but
He hasn't written one yet, but I think he said he's going to try to get one in soon.
that sounds amazing. Eastern,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
the Eastern take on stuff is all right with me. You know what I'm saying?
So,
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and Barry, you were doing the
Yeah.
trying to do the full-time artist life thing.
Yeah, I'm all over the place
Where
with the
can-
stuff.
Where can people
you can
find you if they
find-
want to get a commission?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at The Art of Vanton. You can find me on Instagram at Vanton, Vanton. I usually have it as my name on here, but I don't this time. I'm
Let me see,
relaunching
is there
my.
a-
What's that?
I wonder if that's a
I'm-
setting that I don't have on here.
Yeah, I'm relaunching my Twitter because it wasn't where it was going where I wanted. So I'm just gonna remake a new one, and yeah, I might be doing a YouTube too, but who knows? That might be just more sports and silly game stuff. So yeah, you can find me most places at VANNT0N. TON. Sorry, I dropped a 0. Now it's O.
I am just seeing if we have a setting that some reason got unclicked to put people's names on here.
They were
We
showing
used to have
earlier.
everybody's names.
Is it when you drop the comment?
I don't know.
Drop the comment.
See here what happens if I do that. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
Just says Barry, man. You just
Yeah,
put
I
Barry
just typed it in Barry real fast. You know.
Oh, there he goes. Okay. So until next time. Oh, and I know I said last week, guys. I know I said last week we would have another Forces on the weekend. It didn't fall together. The pieces weren't in place. But this weekend, we definitely will because it's mostly done. So I just have to finish it. How tough can that be? It's not like it's approaching the end of our fiscal year at my day job or anything. So I'm sure I won't have any problems with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Anyway, till next time, get out there and read some comics. Come on. What else you
Yeah, I
doing?
am 7. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll have a good one and, more adventures in the future. Bye.